All right, and welcome back to episode 28 of the Alec Frengos Show. This is a sports podcast centered around NBA and NFL, but today we're going to be talking some NHL, giving our season predictions, our playoff predictions, and our Stanley Cup prediction. I'm joined by Joey Price, and returning to the show, the man, the myth, the legend, Bryson Puncher is back on the Alec Frengos Show. He's ready to give his NHL predictions, which he is the greatest at. So first of all, we'll go through our awards here for the NHL season, and we'll start it off with Calder. Who is your Calder Trophy winner, aka the Rookie of the Year? I'll start with you, Bryson.
I think it's Connor Bedard. I mean, I'm not crazy. I'm not going to go off the board and say someone completely random. I mean, Connor Bedard's the best rookie we're going to see since McDavid. And as long as he doesn't get hurt, that reward should be all his.
Go ahead, Joey.
I got Connor Bedard too. It's pretty simple.
Yeah,
he's already one of the most skilled players in the league.
There's not too much to think about, really, for me, honestly. I've also got Connor Bedard. Once again, they've said he's generational. I believe he can be generational, and Connor Bedard for me is my pick to win Calder as well. Who's another name you would throw in there maybe to mix it up a little bit? Say Bedard wasn't an option.
Well, there's some competition here. I would say Adam Fantilli of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Yeah. I think he's the main runner-up for that award. And if Bedard gets hurt, I think Fantilli's a front runner for that award.
Yeah.
And you could also say Leo Carlsson of the Anaheim Ducks.
Okay.
I think if he makes the team, he's going to be a really good player.
Is there any players drafted previous years that are eligible?
Yeah.
Luke Hughes?
Yeah, Luke Hughes definitely could be definitely up there. I mean, he's going to get lots of opportunity on that New Jersey blue line.
Yeah.
Definitely looking at him. Simon Edvinsson, going to throw him out there.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, if he cracks the roster, I hope he does. He's going to be a good player for us. I don't know if he'll. I don't know if he'll win the Calder. Okay, he's more of a two-way guy, but I definitely think you could also say Simon Nemec. I think he could be another good player, but he's competing with Luke Hughes for ice time, New Jersey. Yeah, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, they got a lot of young talent there. That's actually pretty crazy.
They do.
That's a lot of. In the match, you drafted high. Hughes, you drafted high. Holy crap. I don't know. It's just a lot to me.
They're loaded with the prospect pool for sure.
But, moving on from Calder, we got the Selke Award, which was Patrice Bergeron's award, but unfortunately he has retired from the Boston Bruins. So who's going to take home this award? It's kind of an open pool here. What do you got?
I think it's going to be Mitch Marner of the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think if that team is to be successful, he needs to step up defensively. Obviously, he was nominated last year, and he was very high up in the defensive category, and I think it's his reward to win this year.
Yeah, I'll go next. I actually do have Mitch Marner as well. I think that it's kind of open. I feel like if you're a very good player, you have a little bit of defensive upside, you're just bound to win it. Mm-hmm. Mitch Marner, is he a center?
He's a winger. He's a winger.
Yeah. So, I don't know, because Bergeron, he wanted a lot just because of his defensive draws to win, right? So that was also a huge boost. But for me, I also have Mitch Marner winning it. Go ahead.
I got Alexander Barkov just because he's been nominated before. Good defensive forward, and he wins a lot of faceoffs.
Yeah. That's also just another award that just kind of seems like, damn, anyone could win it if you are a very good player. Like I said, once again, you have not even a ton of defensive upside, just you play well in your own zone.
Exactly, for sure.
Moving on to the MVP, basically, the Hart Trophy. What do you got here?
I'm going to go off the board here because I know everyone probably goes McDavid.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Jack Hughes, the New Jersey Devils. I think he's really going to break out this year.
Wow.
The Devils, I think they're cup favorites, in my opinion. If they keep up that pace, I think Jack Hughes could surpass 110 points. I think he's going to go crazy this year.
That's impressive. Wow. For me, winning the Hart, I also don't have McDavid. Not too crazy off the board, but slightly. I got Nathan McKinnon.
Okay.
I feel like without having Landeskog, if this team wants to kind of compete a little bit, he's going to have to put up crazy numbers as well. And it's going to be him, Rantanen, and I don't know who's going to be in center there for
they've got a lot.
Who's going to be on that first line with those two?
They got a lot of depth issues, that team. I mean,
I can't even name who's going to be there with them.
They've been on the first line?
Yeah.
I heard Drouin might.
Yeah.
Jonathan Drouin.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
he's getting up there. He's probably pushing 35. It has to be.
Yeah, he's getting up there. I mean, I think they're trying to re-spark some Halifax Moosehead chemistry between McKinnon and
That's a
Drouin.
good
But
point.
I think, like, Drouin, like, people call him a bust. I still
they
think
do.
he could get some potential out of there. But, yeah, Drouin probably going to be slotted in on that first line.
But, yeah, no, for me, it's going to have to be the McKinnon show, right?
Yeah. It's a good
Him,
pick.
McCarr, they're just going to have to dominate. And
Yep.
McKinnon's going to have to put up for sure 100-plus points.
Oh, for sure.
Go ahead.
100%.
Keeping it simple, it's McDavid's award to lose.
It is.
Just
That's true.
he's the best player in all of sports, in my opinion. Most talented guy.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, moving on from the Hart Trophy now, we're going to go to the Jack Adams Award, basically the Coach of the Year. Who's going to be the Coach of the Year for you, Bryson?
I think it's going to be Newsy. Derek Lalonde. I think Derek Lalonde is going to win the Coach of the
shit.
Year. Great coach. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about preseason, but he's doing a good job coaching. We almost beat the Leafs last night with an AHL level roster.
Larkin played, didn't he, or no?
No, our first line was it was Soderblom, Christian Fischer, and Joe Valeno. So let's not
overreact to preseason now.
yeah, I'm not overreacting to preseason. I just think Derek Lalonde, like, it isn't a bad take. Another name I'll throw out there, Peter DeBoer, Dallas
Fair.
Stars.
I was looking at him.
That's mine.
Yeah?
I think Dallas is legit this year, man. They're good. They got a lot of depth, and I think he's gonna lead them.
So yeah, talk a little bit about your pick then.
Mine?
Yeah.
I just think Dallas is gonna win the President's Trophy.
Ooh, okay.
Peter DeBoer.
And that,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Jim
It-
Montgomery won it
Yeah.
because Bruins won President. Is it basically who wins the President's Trophy, or is it kind
It's
of just like
kind of, or if it's a surprise
surprise
team.
team? Like if the Red Wings make the playoffs, he has a case for
He
it.
has a case
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
For me, I think this team takes home the President's Trophy this year by a little bit of surprise. I got Rod Brindamore of the Carolina Hurricanes.
Great pick.
This team honestly seems stacked to me.
They are
It
good.
is.
It's a very,
They're
very
good.
loaded roster. Signing Dmitry Orlov in free agency. You obviously got Aho there, Svechnikov. I think he's coming back, right?
He's
He was
coming back
hurt.
off the ACL.
So
yeah.
this team's dangerous. They've always been a playoff team too. Rob Brindamore coaches them so well. They're such a hard team to play.
He's a good
And yeah,
coach, man.
I got him for
Good
my
pick.
Coach of the Year.
Great pick.
Now the Norris Trophy. I hope this is a consensus. I don't know if it is. Go ahead.
I got Cale Makar, the Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah.
I know I've gone off the board a little bit with my first couple
this has
picks,
to be-
but I mean, it's Cale Makar. Another name you could throw out there is Adam Fox, who's been like
Yep.
a runner-up,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
I just think it's Cale
McAvoy you
Makar.
could throw in there.
Yeah, you could throw in McAvoy. Yep.
For me, I also have Cale Makar. I this is one I don't really think about. Once again, the Colorado Avalanche are always competing for a top spot. Cale Makar, he's one of the reasons why they're one of the best teams in the NHL.
For sure.
And for me, he's so special. I can't not pick him.
For sure.
I also got Cale Makar. Like you guys say, he's just so talented.
Special.
Can skate so well.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Couple more awards here. First, we'll start with the Rocket Richard Award. Who you got scoring the most goals this year, Bryce?
I got Jason Robertson of the Dallas Stars. I think he's a huge breakout candidate. Well, he broke out last year. I think he's going to pass 50 goals this year.
Who took
And
this award last year? Was it McDavid?
It was McDavid.
Yeah.
But I think Jason Robertson, he's going to put up 50-plus goals, and I think he's going to be right up there with Matthews. And if Dallas is going to be successful, like you said, you have them winning the President's Trophy, Jason Robertson will put up more than 50 goals for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
McDavid won it last year, but the guy right behind him had a career year, and I think he's going to do the same thing next year in the regular season.
Yeah.
David Pastrnak, I got him winning the Rocket Richard. He's just a pure goal scorer. It's what he does.
Yeah.
He scores big time in the regular season,
Mhm.
and now with Bergeron leaving, the responsibility leans more towards David Pastrnak and Brad Marchand to lead this team into the playoffs, into a successful regular season.
Yep.
They can't rely on Bergeron now, who really was the leader even when Chara was there too for these guys. And for me, I think he's going to have another big time year for the Boston Bruins.
It's a good pick.
All right. My Rocket Richard is Austin Matthews. Just a sniper. He had a down year last year, but I think he gets back to his 60-goal number this year.
Ooh.
They need that
I
to win.
think Pasternak was 60
61.
61?
That's
McDavid
still
had
incredible.
64.
Yeah.
Like
That's,
McDavid, I still think he could win it easily.
I got to switch it. I'm not going to go McDavid.
No.
forever work. Come on, why not? Vezina Trophy. This one's kind of
It's hard.
up in the air for me.
I have 2.
I'll start off
Okay.
here. For the Vezina, I have Saros from the Nashville Predators winning this award.
Okay.
Kind of a sleeper team. I'm not going to leak what I have in the playoffs, but I do have them in the playoffs. I think they can be a little under the radar team,
Yeah.
especially if you get good goaltending play. We saw with the Bruins last year why they had the best record of all time. The goaltending was lights out, whether it was Allmark or the backup, but Allmark ended up winning the Vezina because he was just sensational in the regular season. So if he can give this team good play during the regular season, I think this can be it could sneak a wild card or come top 3 in the division for me.
Yeah, I don't hate that pick. Like, Nashville, they're a tough team to play against. They always play the game physical, and they got a lot of playoff experience on that team. I like the additions they made in the offseason, especially Ryan O'Reilly down that center
It's
court.
huge.
That's a huge addition. They get Luke Shen, who's a nasty defenseman with bite. They get a few other guys, and Saros, like you said, one of the more underrated goaltenders in the league, and I think that's a good
If he has a year, that team can be a dark horse. I'm not
could
going to
be.
say contend. It could be a legit dark horse because you added 2 playoff players.
Yep. And they added more. I just can't think of them off the top of my head, but they had a good offseason.
Go ahead, Joe.
I have 2. I'm just going to say 1, Ilya Sorokin.
Yep.
My other one was Jake Ottinger. I think he could easily win if Dallas is as good as I predict.
He seems a little inconsistent for me.
Yeah,
Does he
but
not?
It just
a little
takes
bit.
one
He got
year.
lit in the
He
playoffs.
did.
Yeah.
He did.
But no, of course, the regular season,
Yeah.
anything can happen,
For
right?
sure.
Go ahead.
Also, the Islanders
Oh,
are
sorry.
just such a defensive team.
Yeah.
Like,
He seems like the favorite, though, from what I've
Sorokin,
been seeing.
yeah.
He won it last year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Ilya Sorokin.
yeah.
Vezina?
Yeah.
Did he win it over
I think so.
Allmark?
Yeah. Or no,
Allmark.
Allmark won it.
Allmark.
Allmark won it.
Yeah.
Allmark won it. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
No, yeah, but still, the Islanders, they're one of my least favorite teams because I hate how they play. They play like they never want to score goals.
Yeah.
It pisses me off so much, especially them beating the Bruins in 2021, I believe. That was such an annoying series to watch because there's 2 goals every game max. But yeah, he definitely has a good chance by the way they play. Go
For
ahead.
sure.
Is Trotz still there?
No, he's not. He is actually the new general manager of the Nashville Predators, Barry Trotz. So he's kind of
Who's their
building that
coach?
Nashville team. Good question. I think it's Lambert. I think it's the uncle of Brad Lambert.
Okay.
Lane Lambert is
Yeah.
the coach there.
Okay.
And he is the uncle of Brad Lambert, who's a very good player on the Jets. So he's kind of, I guess he's taken over Trotz's defensive mechanisms.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Islanders, they just like to play the trap. Like, they clog up the neutral zone. They play
So
physical.
dumb to watch.
And they have
So
good
dumb.
goaltending to back up the defensive play. So
Exactly.
that leads me into my Vezina winner, in my opinion. That's Sorokin.
Yep.
I think that's his reward to win this year. Another name that I want to throw out there is Igor Shesterkin.
Yep.
I feel like people are
Have to
forgetting
put
how
him in
good
there.
he is. Obviously, with Vasilevsky going down for Tampa, he's out for 4 months.
That just opens it up,
It
right?
opens up the opportunity for more goaltenders. So I'm going to go with Sorokin.
For sure, yeah. So those are our NHL award predictions for the 2023-2024 season. And we'll get to our playoff picks here. For the West, I'll let you start us off here, Bryce.
For the West, I got the Dallas Stars winning the division.
Okay.
I got Colorado finishing second.
Yep.
Minnesota finishing third.
Yep.
And Nashville getting the wild card spot in the Central. So that would mean, and then I'll say the Pacific as well. Then I'll get into playoff matchups.
Yeah.
Pacific, I got Edmonton taking the division. Vegas second, close second. The Kings third, and then the Vancouver Canucks getting the last wild card spot.
All right. So your 2 wild cards are
Vancouver and Nashville.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead with your playoff matchups. Who you have
Okay,
here?
so playoff matchups. I got the Dallas Stars versus the Vancouver Canucks.
Okay.
In the first round.
Yeah.
The other one I got is Edmonton versus Nashville. The other 2 I got Colorado versus Minnesota, and then the Golden Knights versus the Kings.
Yeah.
Those are my playoff matchups.
So yeah, for the West, for the West, I have I'll say my top 3 in each division, and then the 2 wild cards. I got Colorado coming first in the Central, Dallas second, Nashville third in the Central. And for the Pacific, I have Edmonton first, Vegas second, Seattle third, and then my 2 wild cards are the LA Kings and the Minnesota Wild. So for the matchups I've got Colorado versus Minnesota, Edmonton versus LA Kings, Dallas versus Nashville, and Vegas versus Seattle. The one that I'm kind of on the fence about, I kind of have Seattle in there because they got the experience, but I don't really know if that roster is ready to go back to the playoffs or not. I kind of threw it in there, but I feel like they could have a very down year, but I don't know with these things with expansion teams, they seem to make the playoffs every year.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Go ahead.
All right, so my Central, 1 Stars, 2 Avalanche, 3 Minnesota, and then the wild card is Nashville.
Yep.
And then the Pacific, I got the Oilers number 1, Golden Knights number 2, Kraken 3.
Yeah.
The wild card is the Kings.
Yeah.
So the playoffs are Dallas versus Nashville.
Yep.
Colorado versus Minnesota. Edmonton versus LA. And Golden Knights versus Seattle.
We have the exact same thing.
You guys have the same thing?
We have the Dallas versus Nashville.
Yeah.
We have the exact same thing. We have the exact same thing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No way.
So for the East, Bryce, what do you got here? This is where it gets spicy.
It's a bloodbath.
This is an absolutely stacked conference.
It is, and it's especially the Atlantic
Someone's
division.
got to miss it.
That's the division I'm looking at right now. The
2
Atlantic
teams
division.
have got to miss it, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's very close. So for the Atlantic, I'll start with that. I got the Leafs finishing first. I got Tampa finishing second. Actually, scratch that. I got Florida finishing second. Tampa third, because the Vasilevsky injury will come into play.
That's fair. That's very fair.
And then I got the Detroit Red Wings at fourth.
Don't do this shit right now.
And then for the Metro, I got the Devils 1, Carolina 2, Rangers 3, and then the Penguins at 4.
Carolina, New York Rangers.
New Jersey, Carolina, Rangers, and then Penguins. So the 2 wildcard teams are the Red Wings and the Penguins.
All right, go ahead with your playoff matchups.
Okay, first matchup I got is the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Detroit Red Wings. Original 6 matchup. I think we get the upset here.
Oh, my gosh.
I think D-Boss is going to carry the team to beat the Leafs, who are known playoff basement dwellers, who just got out of the first round last year.
Who's D-Boss?
Dylan Larkin, that's his nickname. So
Captain.
that's the first match. The captain, yeah. Also known as the captain.
Yeah.
Also, the next matchup, another good one, New Jersey versus Pittsburgh. And I like this matchup. It's like the up-and-comers, the young team versus the team
Last Dance.
The Last Dance versus the new guys, right? That Pittsburgh team's got Crosby, Carlson, Malkin, Letang. It's like a retirement home on that team.
They're kind of nice,
They
actually.
are good. They are good. And then the other 2 matchups I got, I mean, who doesn't love the Battle of Florida? Tampa versus Florida. I mean, that's a great series there.
Panthers.
And then the last matchup I got, another rivalry, the Rangers and the Hurricanes in the final matchup.
It's a great series.
Yeah, so that's what I got in the East.
You go ahead, Joey.
All right, so for the Atlantic, I got 1 Toronto, 2 Tampa Bay, 3 Boston, 4 Buffalo. And then the Metro, I got 1 Carolina, 2 New Jersey, 3 Rangers, 4 Penguins.
Yeah. So your playoff matchups, go ahead.
Maple Leafs versus the Penguins, Kyle Dubas, revenge.
Ooh, that'll be a good series.
Lightning versus Bruins, that's always great.
Yeah.
Hurricanes versus Sabres, and then Devils versus Rangers. That's a great series.
We honestly almost had the exact same thing, but mine's tweaked a little bit.
Okay.
First, so for the Metropolitan, I have Carolina first, Devils second, New York Rangers third, and then for the Atlantic, I have Toronto first, Boston second, Lightning third, and then my 2 wildcard teams are the Penguins. I have 1 of each, but it just works out like that. The Penguins first wildcard, and then the Florida Panthers as my other wildcard. So my matchups are Carolina against Florida, Toronto versus Pittsburgh, Devils versus Rangers, and then Bruins versus Lightning. And I knew this was going to happen because you've got my Bruins out of the playoffs, and I've got your Red Wings out of the playoffs. So
yeah,
And you stating that the Red Wings are gonna upset the Leafs, do you thoroughly believe that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
So the expectation for the Detroit Red Wings this year is?
I think at least the second round. I think it's possible.
Wow.
I think it's definitely possible. I mean, we upgraded every position on our team. Obviously, we got
not goalie,
but who's
most important in the playoffs.
I mean, we can trade. Yzerman can make a trade.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah.
If I just want you have to agree with this. If he goes in the playoffs, Ville Husso, without playing an NHL playoff game against the Maple Leafs, he gonna get lit up.
Well, I mean,
and I'm the number one. Out of all teams in the world, I hate the goddamn Toronto Maple Leafs the most. And I would cheer for the Red Wings to win it. But if they have Ville Husso in net, I get the Leafs don't have a star goalie either. But shit, he ain't played a game.
Well, when it's the Toronto Maple Leafs or the Dallas Cowboys of the
we
NHL,
know that
anything could go wrong for them. And if the Wings make the playoffs, I mean, I think we're gonna have some trade deadline acquisitions.
Sure. If they're above 500 and the team's kind of on the fringe, you obviously want to get better.
Yeah,
right?
we will.
But if this is another team like last year, where you made a ton of new signings.
Yeah,
tons.
Last year, Cop, Perron, David
Sherratt.
Yep.
And they didn't really move the needle at all. Obviously, DeBrincat's a different changer for the game, right?
That's a
He's
game
going to give you 30, 40 goals probably.
Maybe even more than that.
He's obviously going to move the power play to score more. He's going to score. What the Red Wings were weak at is scoring goals, right? So he's obviously going to move that team. But can he move it enough to make the team go to the playoffs?
Well, I think there's also some other big names that deserve a mention here.
Okay, I'll say, tell me if I get it right. Raymond has to take a step up.
He has to take a step.
Seider has to be the number one defenseman. He has to show that he's a top defenseman in the conference, too.
Yeah, he has to.
Because he's got to quarterback a ton of minutes for that defensive core.
He will.
He has to. And then, what else do you want to
You got JT Compher, who played very well for Colorado.
He's good.
You got Daniel Sprong, who was basically a point per game for the Kraken, looking to be a great goal scorer. This player doesn't get recognized enough. Klim Kostin on the fourth line. He's a tough guy. He's one of the tougher guys in the NHL.
Yeah, okay.
And we got that. The one thing we struggled with last year was pushback. We got Kostin for that. We got Christian Fischer for that. I don't love the Justin Hall edition. I mean, he's got playoff experience.
Let's be honest. Don't make that shit seem nice.
Yeah,
he's ass.
I can't.
The one problem though is, sure, the Red Wings are gonna need Kostin to be physical in the playoffs, especially if they get in. But it's disappointing to see though, because every team every year has one like absolute nail gun on the team, like a guy that would fight ready to go, right? That's his role. And it's weird that the Red Wings didn't have this with drafting all this talent. Yeah. And you let Larkin be your main tough guy, which he was for a little bit on forward last year.
He was a little bit. Yeah.
So you bring in Kostin and like. The problem is, though, who's he playing with? Because they've got guys now, like, there's lines now for the Leafs. They've got lines for guys that can fight on their first, second, third line, it seems. Bertuzzi, Domi, Reeves.
They can go.
Do they have any defensemen that can really throw
Simon Benoit, he can throw him, too.
Yeah, but he won't play, really.
They lost Shen, obviously, but... Yeah. And then the Bruins, like, they obviously lost Foligno and stuff. They get Lucic back, huge. Carlo can chuck him. Forbort can chuck him. Yeah. Clifton, I think, believes
he's on the Sabres.
Yeah, he went to Buffalo, but
good pickup for them, by the way. I want the Wings to get Clifton. He's a good player,
hard hitter, and
he's a nasty player. He's got a bite to his game.
-5 in the playoffs though against the Panthers.
Yeah,
was he?
Yeah, he was terrible. But it just seems like there's got to be more than one person on the team that can fight. That's what's going to be concerning in the playoffs. If Kostin goes out in a heated series versus the Leafs in a fight against Reeves, you're going to have idiot Domi running around. You're going to have idiot Bertuzzi running around. Who's going to have to step in and fight? Sprong, you said your goal scorer?
It's going to have to be Ben Sherratt. I think Sherratt's a pretty tough guy, but he's not like the toughest guy.
He ain't going to fight no one.
He will fight.
He will
He fought Reeves last year.
That was a bad. That's the game that just defined that you need someone like
that was. I will admit that any day of the week. That's the eye opener right there. And I think obviously I think Eisman will look to add more grit at the trade deadline if we're at.
If you're going to the playoffs, you need at least one more guy like Costin.
We will. We can't survive with just
one
Costin
guy. No,
on the fourth line.
He'll be a guy that will get the fans excited, right? He'll have a couple fights here and there. He'll get the odd couple goals. But
yeah, he will. He can score goals too.
You can't have one guy.
No, you
Especially
can't.
when your team's not known for huge grit.
No, it's not. It's kind of funny. The Red Wings back in the 80s and 90s were known as like one of the toughest franchise in the league. And
when Yzerman was playing, maybe.
Yeah. Joey
His team was tough, probably, for sure.
Joey
I don't know, because I wasn't
Darren
watching.
McCarty.
I'm not trying to act like Wyatt. Saying I watched in the 90s, but like I'm assuming their original six team back then, you have to be tough.
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
for them to kind of lose that DNA, especially from a former player, is kind of upsetting. Like, seriously looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Yzerman was. That's a big thing he wanted to add this year was grit, and Costin solves a bit of it, but we definitely do need more.
Well, it's gonna be all based on the trade deadline. Are the Red Wings gonna be the same as last year, where they're gonna have to sell a couple mediocre pieces like Hronek and stuff for value, and keep trying to rebuild this team, or are they finally gonna get a shot to shoot at the playoffs?
This is the year you have to go for it. You can't
especially
keep doing
getting
the same
DeBrincat too.
You can't keep doing the same thing. Like it happened the past 2 years. You have to take risks at some point, and I think this is the year you have to do it, especially with Ottawa and Buffalo chasing us. Like, we got to do it. Like, we got to make those
That's what I absolutely have it come down to. Tampa Bay could maybe fall out of the playoffs. I don't see it happening, but if they slip hard with Vasilevsky, who knows what's going to happen. So the teams I look at, like, I've obviously got Toronto, Boston, Tampa, Florida.
Yeah.
Just say the Metropolitan status quo. Pittsburgh's the one wild card.
Yeah.
It's going to be between for the last wild card spot. If one of these teams upset, it's going to be between Ottawa and Detroit.
Yeah.
And Buffalo, I guess. But
Buffalo, maybe.
I just see Ottawa and Detroit as these two teams where it's like, you've been in a rebuild for so damn long. It's time to finally go.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
Time to finally go. But if they can't, it's just going to be upsetting, especially for someone that's a huge Red Wings fan.
Yeah,
it
hurts.
If they can't get this, it's disappointing because you have a great first line.
Yeah, our first line's great.
Larkin, DeBrincat, Raymond.
Yeah.
That's what's going to put up the majority of your points, right?
For sure.
And the little pieces Yzerman adds, let's see if it's effective enough.
Let's see, man. Let's see.
But for me, talking a little about the Bruins now, because you obviously don't have them in the playoffs. You do. I just think that losing Bergeron, it's huge, right? We all get it.
Oh, yeah.
But they folded in the playoffs, right? This team in the regular season, it's 90% the same team. You've got David Pastrnak. You've got Brad Marchand, the new captain. You've got your newly signed Charlie McAvoy. You've got Hampus Lindholm. You've got Brandon Carlo. You've got the best goaltending duo in the NHL. You've got grit still. You get Lucic back, familiar face. And the Bruins just have too much of a culture to collapse in the regular season, is my opinion. If they play Tampa Bay and Vasilevsky's healthy, they'll lose the series. I'll go ahead and say that. That's fine. But I just think this team is just too put together for so long for them to just collapse and fall out to one of these teams against Ottawa. They can't be worse than Ottawa. You can't be worse than in Florida in the regular season, even though I don't want to talk about them right now because they broke our hearts. But still, in the regular season, anything can happen in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Regular season, Florida, you should not be in competition with them. You shouldn't be. In Detroit, who knows? If they're a huge sleeper team, they'll probably take out Tampa or Florida, I think. Yeah. They'll take out one of those teams because Florida went to the Stanley Cup last year. Florida, are they going to sustain that? Hell no.
I'd like to say it was a bit of a fluke.
No, they worked their ass off.
They did. I mean, like a lot of bullshit happened.
But shit happens every once in a while. Some fluke shit happens, right? And Boston was just on the shitty end of it. Best regular season team of all time. The roster's loaded. All in for Bertuzzi. All in for Orlov. These are legit pieces to the team. Legit guys.
They had a great core.
And
no doubt about it.
You go ahead and you drop a duck to the Florida Panthers. Matthew Tkachuk.
I was just going to say his name.
London Knights, as we cheer for the Kitchener Rangers. F's us over. And then goes to the Boston, goes into TD Garden. and fucks me over again. So
he's one hell of a player, though.
He is a great player, but not to have him on your side your whole life is kind of upsetting a little bit. But yeah, I just think the Boston Bruins are too good of a team to just miss the playoffs. What do you think, Joey?
Boston Bruins? Well, their core's getting older.
It is.
It's kind of like their last time to win it with this team.
I thought it was last year. I don't think they have a shot at the Cup anymore.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
We'll see because the Atlantic's strong again. Who knows? They could easily miss the playoffs.
They could.
Because Ottawa could be
good.
Easily.
I mean,
who knows?
My reason why I don't have them in the playoffs, I look at their center depth and
it's not good.
Coyle. Are you going to survive with Charlie Coyle and Pavel Zacha down the middle?
No. Charlie Coyle, Pavel Zacha, Matthew Poitras.
Yeah, Matthew Poitras. He's a good player.
He can't be on the first line.
No. I even think he might go back to Guelph. But, I mean, he's got a shot to make their roster. I think Zacha's a good player. Is he 1C material? No, he's not.
Well, once again, sorry to cut you off, but
it's all good.
If you're at this team and they're over succeeding in the regular season like they did last year, you got to go make another move then, right? If this core is just putting on another show where they're a top 3 in the Atlantic, right? They're almost locking up a playoff spot after the trade deadline. You got to go get a center. I don't know who the hell will be on the market, but you got to go get someone else. You just need a number one. These Coyle, Zacha, and Poich, however the hell you say his name, they can play behind these guys. Yeah. They can. But you need the clear number one, especially with Krejci retiring too. It just hits the depth.
I forgot about him going away for the Bruins. I want to throw out 2 names that they could go after, okay? I think Mark Scheifele would be a good fit for the Bruins. Yeah. Winnipeg's looking to trade him. Another name that's been coming up recently is Steven Stamkos. Apparently, they
trade him to Boston.
Yeah, there's been negotiation.
They'd never do that.
Like I think
would? Never.
No, they got a shot. I mean, I think Stamkos is pissed off.
Like I said, if they're underachieving and they're losing every game with Vasilevsky out,
yeah.
Shit, I'd love that. It's another veteran. He can put pucks in the net along with Pasternak. It'd be awesome, but I don't know. Scheifele's just tough because he's a great goal scorer as well, but he's going to want to get paid too. And the Bruins, you kind of look at the cap, right? They're very tight on cap. They couldn't re-sign Bertuzzi or Orlov because Bergeron and Krejci were basically playing for free. They're on veteran minimums, and when they retired, the salary cap didn't move at all because they were making under,
they just want to win
under $1 million almost. So that's what sucks, right? One of your best players retires and it doesn't even say you can re-sign someone else. So we'll see what happens. It could be a very rough season or it could be a very disappointing playoffs.
Hey, we're both in the same boat.
Options, so
we're in the same boat, man.
We'll see what happens.
Red Wings could be make or break and your Bruins could be make or break. So it should be an interesting season. So,
talking about the Red Wings, the Bruins, everything, we're gonna do a little game here. We're gonna do Would You Rather. Any guesses?
Captain.
Is it Dylan?
Would You Rather Dylan Larkin edition. First name,
Captain.
Tim Stützle.
I'm gonna go with D-Boss here.
Already.
The captain.
D-Boss.
I mean, it's I just
you got to think about this one.
It's hard because he's my favorite player, man. But damn, Stützle's one hell of a player too, man. But you know what? I'll save the bias or something else. I think Stützle will actually be better.
Wow.
I mean, Stützle.
Wow.
Okay, here's the thing.
Shit.
I hate the Senators with a passion, but I'm not crazy. Tim Stützle is a top 15 NHL talent.
I was going to say, yeah.
I'd say Larkin is probably in the 30 to 40 range. And Stützle probably top 15 talent. I mean, he could surpass 100 points.
Yeah.
As much as I hate Ottawa, I'm not crazy. I'm a diehard Red Wing fan. I'm not crazy. Stützle is the better player right now.
Okay.
I'm
also going to go Tim Stützle. I just think he's not the much better player, but I'd take him over Larkin slightly comfortably. Go ahead.
Same here. I'm taking Tim Stützle.
Next name, someone who you had in your awards, Jack Hughes.
I gotta take Jack Hughes because I have him winning the Hart Trophy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say no to Dylan, but
I'll give you some favorable names up here. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm going Jack Hughes as well.
I'm also gonna go Jack Hughes. Next name, Mikko Rantanen.
This one I'll take Dylan. I think you value position here. Rantanen's not great defensively.
He's not.
Larkin's better defensively. I think if you take McKinnon off, or you take him off the McKinnon line, what does Rantanen produce without McKinnon?
Not a lot.
What does he produce?
I don't know.
Dylan's been putting up points by himself for years. And you know what? I'm actually going to take it back. I will take Dylan over Stützle just for the sole reason that Stützle and the Senators could fold. I really don't think he has a good supporting cast around him.
Wow.
And yeah, I can't bail on. I can't sleep at night if I take Stützle. But
Rantanen or
yeah,
Larkin?
I'm going Rantanen just because of what he's done in the playoffs.
I don't know. This is honestly kind of on the fence because Larkin really does bring more to the team.
he does.
I'm just gonna keep it simple. I'm gonna have to go Rantanen just because he's
Okay.
proved it in the postseason.
Fair
Two
enough.
more names: David Pasternak.
David Pasternak.
Don't do this shit, Bryce. Bro.
I'm gonna take Dylan.
Oh my god! You can admit Pasternak, but not Stützle. Come on,
I took it back.
No. Like you could say Dylan over Stützle. You can't say Pasternak's better than Stützle.
It's debatable.
No.
It's debatable.
No.
It's debatable. Tim Stützle is one hell of a player. Pasternak, I worry if Bergeron out of that lineup.
You think he's done? Well,
I don't
Bergeron was hurt up until December.
Fair enough.
Let's not forget that.
I mean, I don't think one's significantly better than the other.
Okay.
I think Stützle, he's so underrated. I think he was over point per game last year.
Okay.
And I hate to back up Senators players, but in this case,
So you're going Larkin over Pasternak?
yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm going with Pasternak as well.
Yeah, I gotta go Pasternak. He's just top 3 goal scorer in the NHL. He might have been, him and Burt might have been the 2 best players for the Bruins in the playoffs.
He was amazing. Bertuzzi was amazing.
And he's just been a consistent guy for the team. Franchise player. Have to go Pasternak. Last name, kind of a toss up. Sebastian Aho.
I'm going with Sebastian Aho.
You're crazy. I'm gonna go with Dylan here. I think Aho. I think he's a bit of an overrated player, in my opinion. I think Dylan brings more to the table. He brings more heart, leadership.
I don't think he's wrong.
I think the grit, the leadership, the speed, the playmaking, I think it's all better. I think Aho just had better line mates, and I think Larkin can break out big time with DeBrincat.
One thing that Aho does, I think, that Larkin doesn't do is put the puck in the net as much as Larkin.
Yeah,
I could
he
be
can
wrong
score
on
goals.
that. I think he scores more than Larkin. And in the postseason, he's a big-time goal scorer for the Carolina Hurricanes. So, but honestly, overall, who would I rather have on my team? I'd rather have Dylan Larkin, a guy that's just a leader. He's a hard worker, and he really does everything at a good level.
Yeah.
With Aho, he doesn't really seem like he's a big impact on the defensive end. He's not an insane playmaker.
No, he's not.
I'd rather have an overall good
He's
guy
quiet.
than one guy that does something elite, especially as a center, too.
Yeah.
That's a huge trait.
For sure.
But yeah, that's Would You Rather Dylan Larkin. And maybe we come back to this in mid-season.
We will, for sure.
Finally, your 2024 Stanley Cup champions are in the matchup. Go ahead.
I'm gonna stick with my prediction that I had at the beginning of the podcast.
Yep.
Earlier.
I got it right here.
Yeah. I'm gonna stick with it. Dallas Stars, New Jersey Devils
And your winner?
is the New Jersey Devils.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Joey, go ahead. I forget. I think it was Carolina versus someone.
I think it was Carolina versus Edmonton.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm going to keep Edmonton in there, and then they're going to be playing the New Jersey Devils, and the Oilers will take it.
Wow.
McDavid will win his first NHL
Historic.
champion.
Yeah. For me, after the NHL season ended and Vegas won, my prediction was Edmonton versus the New York Rangers. New York Rangers lost a lot.
Yeah.
They lost a lot. They lost a lot of veterans. They looked like they folded in the playoffs too. It seems like Shesterkin doesn't have much help. I'm going to go away from the New York Rangers. I'm going to put Edmonton in there still.
Yeah.
It's still McDavid's time to finally win one. He's going to get one.
Yeah.
He's too great not to get one. This is his year. Vegas, I don't think they repeat. Adin Hill, like I said earlier on, is a fluke in my eyes. The LA Kings, the Wild, the Kraken, you're all better than them. Colorado, Dallas is shaky. Nashville could be a slight dark horse. For me, I got the Edmonton Oilers going up against the Carolina Hurricanes in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Good matchup.
And my winner of the 2024 Stanley Cup Finals is going to be the Carolina Hurricanes beating the Edmonton Oilers.
Wow.
I just think this team's so complete.
Yeah.
I look at those two huge signings. They got Orlov and I forget the other guy, but just bringing in another huge key guy. Orlov was huge for the Bruins.
Yep.
I think Rob Brindamore, that coaching staff, right? You got Aho, Svechnikov coming back. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. Yeah. You got Jacob Slavin back there.
Yeah.
There's just a ton of guys they got, and
the
depth doesn't really end for that team. So I got the Edmonton Oilers versus the Carolina Hurricanes. My Stanley Cup champion is going to be the Carolina Hurricanes. So I've got the Hurricanes.
New Jersey.
Edmonton.
Okay.
All
right.
That's going to do it for episode 28 of the Alec Frengos Show. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next time for NBA predictions.
Let's go.
Final statement for the Red Wings. They are going to finish the season with a second round appearance. True or false?
True. 100%.